What's up, guys? Welcome back. Today I want to do a case study video with you from one of our latest deals that we just completed. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. I'm going to show you a picture of the property and just kind of go over the details of the case. Shout out to my partner Nate on this deal, who did all the heavy lifting on this. Well done, Nate, on another deal successfully completed. Nate has done several deals now with me, so want to give a shout out to him. And let's go ahead and get started, guys. So I'm going to share my screen with you and show you a couple things. So here is the deal. Now you're probably looking at this picture and you're like, Nick, where's the house? Well, there is no house. This property was sold at a tax sale. So this is a tax sale overage. And it was a piece of land, a vacant lot. You can see it's extremely overgrown. As far as I know, there were no structures on it, just a vacant piece of property that went to tax sale. So there's takeaway number one for you guys is overages or surplus funds can be generated from all types of real estate. Meaning overages can be generated from single family residences, can be generated from multifamily units, commercial properties, industrial, vacant land. All forms of real estate can generate surplus funds. Now, obviously, single family homes and land is the most common because those are the most common types of properties that go to foreclosure and go to tax sale. But you also see commercial properties and industrial and all of the other types of real estate that you can think of, or types of land, okay? So that's the first takeaway. Overages, surplus funds can be generated from multiple types of real estate, okay? Now, one thing I want to highlight here, I put the sold date. So this parcel, this lot, sold in January of 2019. However, notice the date of the check, July 21st of 2021. Why is this important? Why am I highlighting this to you? The reason is, guys, is there are millions of dollars of funds that are old cases, old meaning the foreclosure or the tax sale happened over a year ago. And they're just sitting there. They're just sitting there waiting for someone like us to find those funds and find the person entitled to them, find the claimant. There's a ton of this out there. And at the end of the day, guys, this is why COVID did not affect our business in a drastic way. Did it hurt because foreclosure stopped? Yeah, it did. However, we just pivoted and started going after these older cases. And there are millions of dollars of old funds, meaning the sale happened over a year ago, just sitting at the counties, with the states, with law firms, whatever. Okay, so that's the second takeaway. Hopefully this is all making sense to you. So you following with me so far? So takeaway number one, overages can be generated from multiple forms of real estate. Takeaway number two, there is millions of dollars of old funds sitting all across the country, okay, just waiting to be claimed. Again, we've talked about this before. Why is the money just sitting there? Well, because the entities that are holding these funds, they have no real motivation to locate the owners and tell them about the funds. Why? Because they are putting these funds into interest-bearing accounts and they're making money on other people's money. You ask yourself, if you have somebody's money and it's just sitting in an account and you don't have to do anything and you're making interest off that money, are you going to try really hard to find the homeowner and let them know that there's money owed to them? So there's a conflict of interest, right? Is a notice sent out? Yes. Usually they mail out a notice to the foreclosed property. In this instance, Obviously, this person was not even aware that this property was going to tax sale. They weren't even receiving the delinquency notices. And that has happened. You'd be surprised how often that happens, guys. I spoke to a lady out of New York. So this is kind of going on a tangent, but it's relevant, and I'll tie it back in. This lady lost a property to a tax sale, and there was some overage, but it wasn't a ton. It was a few $1,000s. The property was located in Florida. She lived in New York. During COVID, she left New York City because obviously New York City was like, what, ground zero or whatever. So she left to go live with some friends or family in New Jersey. Well, she was receiving delinquency notices at her New York address, but she wasn't there and her mail wasn't being forwarded. So when she finally goes back to her house in New York, she finds out that this property has already sold at tax sale, and there's nothing she can do about it because there's no redemption period. So she called me and she wanted to get some advice, and so I let her know, you can try to reverse it. You'd have to hire an attorney, or you can, just collect the overage and move on. That's about all you can do. Now, why is that important? Why do I tell you that story? The reason is there are lots of people that move, or they have circumstances where maybe they leave, if they're an absentee owner, meaning you own the property, but you don't live there, or you don't occupy the property, and then you move somewhere else, but you don't update your mailing address with the county, you're not going to receive notice that your property is going to tax sale or foreclosure. This is more common with tax sale overages, not so much mortgage foreclosures, mortgage overages. But to tie it all back in, if someone's not receiving notice that their property is delinquent on property taxes and it's going to sale, do you think that they will receive notice if there are surplus funds available for them? The answer is no. And it's sad, but it creates an opportunity, right? Which is why our job is important, so that we can locate the funds, locate the owner, and connect the two together. Okay. All right. Final thing, because people always ask, well, how long did this deal take? We filed the claim form with the county on March 20th of 2021. You can see here the date was checked. The check was cut on July 21st, 2021. So about 4 months. Took about 4 months for the check to arrive from the time that we filed the claim form. Pretty average deal. Expenses on this deal, we did not use an attorney. We just worked directly with the county on this one. And so there weren't much expenses, just marketing costs. No attorney's fees on this deal. And pretty straightforward deal for the most part. Other than it's not your typical house, it's a vacant lot. Okay. Total amount recovered was $23,164.65. Our portion was $5,791. Okay. Which I think is what, 30% or something like that. So yeah, that's all I've got for you guys. Hopefully those takeaways, you learned something new. You learned again that overages generated from multiple types of real estate. We talked about how there's lots of old cases out there, lots of old funds waiting to be recovered. We talked about why people aren't aware of funds, okay, because of the whole mailing address issue. And we talked about just basic timeline and just kind of the expenses on this deal. So let me know your questions below, guys. I hope this helps. Again, shout out to my partner, Nate, on this deal. So Nate and I split this. And if you want to learn, guys, more about the process and how I do these deals, You can always check out my free training at overagesyndicate.com. Should be a link below. And that'll give you just the overview, the 5-step process that I follow to do these types of deals. Completely free training. Go check it out, overagesyndicate.com. And that's all I got for you guys. Appreciate you. We'll see you in the next one.